Minister, I welcome this bill, which proposes to allow Ministers for Enterprise, Trade and Employment and the Minister for Agriculture, Food and Marine to enter into agreement with the Strategic Banking Corporation of Ireland to implement a loan guarantee scheme for SMEs and small to mid-caps, including many of our primary producers. The financial gearing of this scheme can deliver up to €330 million in available lending at an exchequer cost of €29 million. Primary lenders can access the funding with an 80% loan guarantee from the state. The interest rates are proposed to be fixed at 4%, and many will be offered on repayment plans of up to 6 years. COVID and Brexit have created significant difficulties for many businesses and sectors, and they have impacted both supply and demand curves, especially for domestic and exporting SMEs and primary producers. This proposed funding underpins the importance of the SME community to the Irish economy. SMEs account for 67.5% of Ireland's overall employment. They contribute 37.3% of gross value add to the Irish economy. It is very important that this money gets out into the SME space as soon as is possible, and I welcome the urgency that Government have attached to this. But I would remind you, Minister, in a previous initiative around this, where we had an 20% loan guarantee, that the pillar banks showed a lot of resistance in terms of taking up their 20% loans, in other words, underwriting the loans requests. And I think we need to remind the banking sector of the facilitation of the Irish state and the Irish people over the past decade, who have returned those banks, those pillar banks, to solvency, and whose basically their efforts have underwriting the generous salaries, particularly at executive levels, that these banks enjoy. So I would hope, Minister, that the government departments will put adequate pressure to make sure that there is significant uptake in underwriting of these loans. I would also point to the credit union sector, which has a significant part to play in providing this SBCI-backed finance. It is also imperative that the numbers of approved credit unions who distribute this funding continue to rise. Understanding that our banking landscape is presently shrinking, I would urge the credit union sector to consolidate and collaborate on these lending opportunities, and on the potential for the sector to play a greater part in the financial support of our SME and Indigenous businesses. As our economy opens up and some of the present business and wage supports begin to reduce, a clearer picture will emerge for many businesses on the viability of their operations and the sustainability of their present business activities. Many enterprises have had to begin a journey of critical self-analysis. Many have been forced to look again at how they are doing their business, but in truth, none can determine fully the future demands for their product and services until we see full reopening and recovering in export and target markets. It is imperative, Minister, that we as legislators ensure that every attempt is made to make sure that no business is left behind, that no one who has fallen is not offered a helping hand as the country emerges from COVID, and we continue to address the new realities of Brexit. On behalf of the many challenged entrepreneurs, business leaders and management teams who will need access to this funding, I welcome this proposed legislation.